Ya los dejé entrar. Okay, so we have started recording and everyone's coming in. So we can start in just a few more seconds.
Mhm.
One more person is trying to get in. But well, thank you so much for being with us in this very last session of the very last day of the first ever translation week. We have made it. We did it. This is the last session, and for this session, we wanted to close with a positive note, and that's why we chose this presentation as the closing presentation, because it talks about turning the crisis into an opportunity. We are going through the strangest of days, yet because of the mindset that we can have, we can focus on the positive, maybe. That is what is going to explain that what our next speaker is going to explain to us. We have with us Sarah Thiemann from Germany, who has agreed to stay up late to be our closing speaker. It is 11 p.m. in Berlin, and that is why we are especially grateful with her to be with us, because she should be in bed right now. But without further ado, let me just quickly introduce her, and so she can give us her presentation and go to sleep. So she is Sarah Thiemann. She has a master's of art. She's a six-figure master of arts, freelance interpreter and translator, German into English since 2012, founder of the private Facebook Interpreters Practice Group of positivity, non-competition, and mutual support. Interpreters business and mindset coach, helping driven interpreters to acquire fantastic long-term clients to achieve the success they want. Sarah, willkommen, bienvenida, muchas gracias por estar con nosotros. Tienes la palabra. Adelante.
Gracias, muchas gracias, Antonio. Como he dicho, es un gran honor estar aquí. Español no es mi lengua de trabajo, pero solo quiero hablar un poco para agradecer o decir gracias por estar aquí. Entonces, ahora voy a cambiar en inglés de nuevo. Okay, I will start sharing my screen for my presentation. Let me share the right screen. Okay, can you see my screen, client acquisition and mindset? Can somebody confirm?
Yes.
I'm sure it works, right?
It works.
Okay. Let me just check. All right, okay. If not, somebody give me a shout if it's wrong or if you see something else. Okay, I would like to start with asking you, although it's the afternoon for you and at night here, or 11 p.m., it's okay. I want to ask you, how were you feeling when you got up this morning? Can you remember? Or in general, when you wake up in the morning, when you first open your eyes, you know, that moment when you're not really awake yet, your mind just starts adjusting. What are your feelings? Are you feeling like ready to start the day? Or rather, oh, I don't know, I'm rather overwhelmed because now all the thoughts start streaming in, everything I have to do today, and the whole to-do list in your mind starts listing up. It's really important for you to figure out how you're feeling in the morning and to turn it into a positive feeling. Because I don't know if you know that, but the majority of people in the world, they feel most of the time during the day in any negative feeling, whether it's overwhelmed or just a little bit down. And isn't that sad? Like, why do we live like that? And the secret is that we can decide ourselves to live with positive feelings, content, serene, and even happy. Here I have a quote from Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, the German poet. Um, Everything clever has already been thought. We must only try to think it again. So, what does it mean? The thing is that everything positive has also something negative to it. You won't find anything positive that doesn't have anything negative, and vice versa. Everything that's negative can also have something positive if you just look for it. And the wise person understands to focus on the positive. And here we come to our mind. We can control our mind and what we are thinking, because you are not your thoughts. You can detach from your thoughts and simply say, okay, I don't want to think this anymore, and imagine the thought flying away on a cloud and then replace it by a positive thought. So this is what I want to talk about today, and hopefully help you to feel better now, and to change your feelings when they're negative into a more positive feeling every day. Just a short disclaimer here. I'm just talking for myself. I'm not representing any professional body, any organization, or any company. I'm just here myself, saying my own opinion for commentary and informational purposes. Antonio already introduced myself. I will skip this now for also time reasons. It's also your last session here today. So this Zoom thing is sometimes hiding my notes here sometimes, but okay. Turning the crisis into the opportunity. So maybe you're thinking now, what am I talking about regarding client acquisition now and positive mindset? I mean, doesn't she know that there's currently a global pandemic going on, the virus and so on, COVID-19? Well, but I want to encourage you to see the opportunity in the crisis. Because, as I said, everything negative also has something positive in it. And there has been this great inspirational story. I couldn't find it anymore, where it came from. I will just tell it my own words, which I probably don't cannot do so well. But in the Great Depression, with the Wall Street crash in 1929, there was an immigrant in New York City who opened up a store, and in the economic crisis, and where also everybody thought nobody is buying anything, people were losing money, companies closing, and this person opened a store. And it turned out that he became really successful and made a fortune. And then later, when he was rich and so on, he was asked by the newspapers, what's your secret, opening up this business during the economic crisis? And the answer was, I didn't know there was a crisis. I couldn't read the newspapers because I couldn't speak the language yet. So what does that got to do with everything? Well, the lesson is that because he didn't know there was a crisis, he thought it would be fine to open a store and he had good chances, right? But if he had known that there was a crisis, he would not have opened it, because he would have assumed that nobody's buying anything and it wouldn't work. And this is what we are doing now. We think nobody needs interpreters. I'm not even doing any client acquisition. Why should I? But do you actually know that? It's just your mind that is telling you that. But ask yourself, do you actually know that? Maybe there are new opportunities now coming up. Opportunities where beforehand nobody had hired an interpreter, and now they have the opportunity to hire an interpreter because of all this new online life here. So this is what I want to encourage you, to always see the opportunity in everything, even if it seems to be a crisis. And now I want to ask you, how did you respond to the global pandemic? It's probably in one of the 5 following ways. Either with fear. Oh, could I fall ill, die? What about my family? Will they fall ill? So fear. Or did you respond in anger? Damn it, I had booked my flights to travel the world, and now I'm stuck at home and the flights got cancelled. Damn it. Or did you respond in protest? Because there are people that always want to stand out, who are against everything just out of principle. And then you would have reacted also against all the hygiene and infection protection measures, lockdown measures here as well, and would have still gone out and celebrated with many people and not wear masks and so on. Or did you react in inner calmness, like, wow, I can be at home now, together with my family. I finally have so much time with them. Everything I've always wanted to have, now I got it. Or another feeling, did you respond in trust? Like, whoa, I don't know what's happening now, but I trust that I will get out of it stronger. I trust that I will make it. So, one event, 5 different responses. Why is that? Because of the different mindset. And you can choose what kind of mindset you have. It's in your power. And how you reacted to the global pandemic reflects the emotion that is dominant inside you. So accept the gift of now understanding yourself better after reflecting, how did I react? Understand that it's a gift, because now you can understand yourself better by seeing, oh, this is the emotion that was or is the strongest in me. For example, if you're usually a kind of a scared person, you would have reacted with fear. If you become angry easily, you probably will have reacted with anger, and so on. So, but you don't have to do it. It's important to understand that what's happening to the majority of people doesn't have to happen to you. What happens to the majority doesn't have to happen to the individual. In 2008, we also had a global financial crisis, and many people lost a lot of money. But also, there were people that set and laid the foundations of their future wealth during that crisis. So, and the precondition for this is the right mindset. If you already believe, everything won't work, nothing will work out, then nothing will work out. If you believe that everything will work out, of course, there's no guarantee for it, but at least this is the only chance something can work out. I think, I'm sure you will agree with me on that. So now it's about time to find peace and inner calmness, to take your individual life into your own hands and take control of what you are thinking, your mindset. And everything you do in life and with interpreting as well, I mean, I'm sure it's your passion. You chose this career because you love languages, cultures, probably also traveling when it's possible. So ask yourself, is everything you do, does it serve you, yourself? Because this is most important. It is healthy self-care. If you don't, if you are not good, you cannot look after other people and help other people, right? Next, everything you do and say should serve other people, the people you are dealing with, your family, friends, people at work, colleagues, and clients. And third, everything that you say or do should serve the bigger picture, the society, advancing the world, because this is what gives us fulfillment, right? In the end, we are working and getting stressed and so on, but what do we want above everything, or what's behind everything? We want being content in life, right? Uh, Maybe even serene and even happy. So don't stress yourself, for example, before an assignment and not having breakfast because, oh my gosh, I have an assignment. How can I have breakfast now? I'm so nervous. Well, why are you doing this to yourself? Treat it like, you know, maybe not a normal day. A bit of adrenaline, of course, is also good for your performance, but be kind to yourself, and it's just in your mind. Who says that you have to be nervous, or so nervous that you don't have breakfast? Treat yourself kindly and um, treat yourself healthily, have a normal breakfast, like do everything normally before the assignment, and allow yourself enough time to not be stressed. So the three criteria I just mentioned, it should serve you, other people, and the bigger picture are the principles of living from a place of being useful for life. So this is what the opportunity is now in this crisis, I think. You can go inside now and get out of the survival mode, the fight or flight mode, which just stresses you out. But how can you do that? By meditation. So I'm sure you have heard of it. So I invite you actually now to try it out. Meditate just 5 minutes. The best thing is really in the morning. It took me, I think, 2 years or so until I tried it out in the morning, because I always used to think I will just fall asleep again. But it's not the case. Try it out 5 minutes in the morning. There are YouTube videos with guided meditations, and 5 minutes, it's really nothing, right? So it already changes the world. I'm telling you, if you develop the habit of just meditating 5 minutes a day, that would already start changing the world to you, and then automatically you will advance a bit longer, because it's about grounding yourself for the day. When you ground yourself in the morning, the whole day is completely different, rather than just like jumping out of bed, going to the assignment in a rush and so on, grabbing a coffee to go. It's just your whole inner, there is no inner balance. Your energy is just chaotic. And with this meditation, you ground yourself, you remind yourself what's important to you in life. And then the assignment on that day will just be okay, just one day. You will survive, you give your best, and that's good enough. If you remind yourself every day what's really important in life, then you put things into perspective, and this already calms you down automatically. Okay. What do I have here? Now I want to ask you, when it comes to client acquisition, do you have the following thoughts? Oh, I have never done it. Oh, what I shall call the company? Oh my gosh, I don't know whom to talk to. I can't do this. I don't know what to say, and I will sound ridiculous. I will probably stammer, and also on this thought spiral when you are actually thinking about client acquisition, and then you become so exhausted already from all those thoughts that you don't even pick up the phone, right? Or don't even start researching the companies. So, and in general, like most people think that something bad in their life has happened in the past, and if that had not happened, then their life would now be wonderful and everything would be so much easier. But this is not the case. Life wouldn't be easier now. There would be something else. So if you want a depression, allow your mind to wander constantly to the past. And the same thing with the future. Like, oh, how will I sound? What will I sound like when I do client acquisition on the phone? It's like going into the future, right? So if you want to be scared, allow your mind to look to the future and picture the worst case scenario. And you need to stop that. Here I quoted Christian Bischoff, a personal development coach. So stop those negative thoughts. These are really counterproductive. If you are scared of cold calling, telephone acquisition, ask yourself, how often have you actually performed it? Are you a pro in it already? Most likely not, because then you wouldn't be afraid anymore, right? So why do you expect to be perfect right away? Why do you expect to convince the person on the other phone right away? Why do you have those high expectations of yourself? It's a learning and development process. I mean, were you able to ride the bike the first time you sat on it? Probably not, right? You fell off a few times, and then you got on it again, and until you made it. And this is the same with client acquisition. And we don't need every phone call to be a success either. We just need a few of them. So, and those few that do become a success, put the others into perspective, or even make them not matter anymore. So stop the negative thinking and just do client acquisition. And how can you do this now? Because it's always easier said than done. I know that. Well, first of all, become aware of your negative thoughts when they occur. This is the first step, because often we are not aware. We're not mindful. We are just like living our life, and maybe in the evening, if we're lucky, we notice, oh yeah, but there, I was acting kind of crazy or whatever, or I was negatively thinking. So, but try to become aware of your negative thoughts when they occur. This won't happen immediately, but if you practice every time, like at first, maybe in the evening, you will remember, oh yeah, that situation. Oh, something changed. I can hear the interpreting now. I didn't click anything.
We
Okay,
hear
it's
you
gone now, I
perfectly,
think.
at least on my end.
Yeah, okay. Where was I? Yeah, become aware of negative thoughts. So don't beat yourself up. This is what my point was. If you don't become aware of it right away when they occur, but only in the evening or maybe even the next day at first, be kind to yourself. Say, oh, okay, I knew this would happen, because again, this is also practice. Everything is practice. So and it will become better over time. So say yourself, oh, okay, at least I became aware a day later or in the evening. And the next time, it will become closer and closer to the actual situation until you become aware now. It's like, oh, what kind of negative thoughts do I have here? And then ask yourself, okay, how can I change this now into something positive? Ask yourself, what can I do next? And I will do my best, and this is okay. So be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. We are our worst own critic. So stop that and practice, practice, practice. You can stop those nonsense worst case scenario by asking fruitful questions. By asking better questions, your brain will find better answers. Trust me, this is true. If you've ever been in an argument with your partner, for example, and they ask you like bad questions, like, why have you done this? Why have you done this? Your brain will find answers to this question. Instead of asking a better question, then you would find a better answer. Like, how can we make this better now? So this is the same with your client acquisition. If you ask yourself, oh, why am I so stupid? Then your brain will give you an answer why you are so stupid. So observe that. It's true. So ask yourself, what can I do next? Better questions. What is the next step that I can take? Something that takes me closer to my desired success. How can I advance positively? Ask different questions, get better answers. And just tell yourself and make yourself aware that you are a person who works with willpower, stamina, and motivation every day, and that you won't give up until you get what you wanted. So now you have the positive fundamental attitude, and this gives you energy to progress. In Germany, there's also this famous children's book. You might know it as well. It was translated in many, many languages worldwide. So Pippi Longstocking by Astrid Lindgren. And her attitude is in that book, I've never tried that before, so I think I should definitely be able to do that. So I ask you, what has happened to our childlike boldness like this, like with the bike, like, okay, riding the bike, I fell off, so what, I get up again. It's even an adventure, I want to fall down because it's an adventure. Why don't we see it all as an adventure anymore? And just because we are adults now and wearing suits and going to fancy events, we cannot think like this anymore. I disagree. I don't want that. So, find your inner child again and be bold and tackle new things in a positive way, and don't beat yourself up when it doesn't work out the first time. So yeah, wake it up, your inner child, like boldness, and replace negative thoughts by positive ones, and then simply just do it, the client acquisition here. And don't forget to motivate yourself because this is, it really helps. It's practice. It's kind of reprogramming your brain. You might feel a bit strange at the beginning, but it's really nothing else than just countering your negative thoughts and replacing them by positive ones. And now we come to the practical matters. A few points quickly only. You have time left, actually. Oh, yeah, I'm good on time. Good. So practical matters for client acquisition. It consists of 3 pillars. When you do client acquisition, ask yourself, what do I want? Who's my ideal client? And what do they want, the client? So what do I want? What kind of interpreting job do I want? Conferences, trade fairs, trainings, workshops, public service or community interpreting. So decide where you want to start your client acquisition in. And here you have some scope of action, right? Just ask yourself, what would you most enjoy? What do you want, We don't need to make it so complicated, just if you already can do some client acquisition, why not start at least with something that we are interested in and enjoy? And then ask yourself, who is my ideal client? Is it a major corporation, small, medium-sized enterprises, or do I want to work rather in the legal area or medical, for agencies, trade for organizers, or do I prefer a family-run company versus a stock corporation? And then most importantly, find out whom in that company hires the interpreters. So at the beginning, if you're really new to client acquisition, I even recommend to you to start with companies maybe that you don't like, don't even want to work with, so to speak, where it really doesn't matter, where you expect it won't work out. Call them first to be completely honest, ask your way through, say, hi, I'm an interpreter, I want to know who hires the interpreters. Be just completely honest, because it doesn't matter. You don't need to be embarrassed or anything. You can tell yourself that, because in your head, I'm saying this to motivate yourself, so that you can actually do it, to take action, to tell yourself, hey, okay, it doesn't matter, I don't want to work for this company, in, like, so to speak. So I'm just completely honest. I will never speak to them again. I don't even, I will never meet them. So I'm just like this naive person now, and asks, all the stupid questions, so to speak, or all the questions that normally I would maybe pretend that I know already, So, and then find your way through it, and then apply that knowledge for the companies you really, really want to work for, where, you would be really happy about when it actually realistically works out. And then furthermore, when it comes to the actual phone calls and what the person on the other on the other end might ask and require from you, ask yourself, what do you want or are willing to deliver? For example, what if they ask you for an interpreting sample? Are you willing to deliver it? And is it for free? Would you charge for it? Does it depend on the duration of the recording? And so on. Would you be available at the weekends? And regarding phone calls, emails, answering emails, are you available anytime or not? And here, globalization, who pays the fees for the bank transfer, international bank transfers? Yeah, you need to decide that for yourself. But those are not so urgent. Maybe, it's when it comes up, you can ask this also, or clarify that. And then again, here, this client acquisition, and in what field do you want to work in? If you don't have a niche yet, if you wonder whether you need a niche or not, ask yourself, okay, what do I enjoy doing? Don't make it so complicated for yourself, because yeah, why don't you start with something you like doing, you enjoy? What do you do in your leisure time that you like? Why not interpret in the horse riding field or something like this, if you like horse riding? Find out whether there are any interpreters are needed there. There are international horse riding schools, right? So yeah, and if you don't know where your strengths are, or to ask yourself where are your strengths, oh, I see a spelling mistake, sorry. And ask yourself also, where did I already receive positive feedback on? And those are the areas that you are good at and possibly also like. And then your clients, what do their clients want? And one important thing is, clients do not want your interpreting service. What do I mean by that? Hey, of course, they need an interpreter, they need my language services. Yeah, superficially it looks like it. But I also noticed that, and I'm guilty myself, that in a conversation I always ask first, okay, what is the technology like? Is there a booth, or is it the guided tour system, two interpreters, how long? So I'm asking all the things that I need. But we need to take a step back, and before all of this, ask what your client needs, or get into the shoes of your client. Are they an event organizer and they have to juggle thousands of things? And do they want maybe stress relief? That they want it all from out of a single source to get something out off their plate, So they want a feeling, like emotional. Purchase decisions are always emotional decisions, like we do as well as consumers. Our purchases are also always based on emotions. This is what all the advertising and commercials are aiming at our emotions, to catch us in a moment where we have an impulse, and then we jump on that impulse and purchase. And also the client, they want stress relief, peace of mind, maybe nothing complicated. So they want a feeling. They want one of those things, or yeah, find out what feeling is it they want. Maybe they have a big event and a big client of theirs is coming, and they want to make sure that all the image is great on that day for their client, so you can reassure them in that, speak to them then on that level, and then ask and clarify all the details with what you need as the interpreter. So the client wants a solution to their problem. Find out what their problem is, what they want to feel, how they want to feel when they know that they have the multilingual communication handled. What does a solution mean to them? Because the client is a human being, and we want to win over the human being. And remember, people always want to work with people, so the human being behind it. They don't want to work with a robot or anything. So we need to win over the human being. And this also helps you then in the long run to maintain the relationship and to not lose them for, whatever, a competitor or so on. Because people want to work with human beings. And once you have established the relationship, you have a good chance that it will last long term. As I said, because purchase decisions are based on emotions. Then ask yourself, where's my ideal client? So first of all, they are like cold, warm, and hot contacts. What do I mean by that? Well, cold contacts is like what I described before, like when you just research, like in the olden days in the telephone book for companies and would call one after the other, because you have never had anything to do with those companies. Warm contacts are contacts, for example, from your existing networks, the hobbies you exercise, associations you are in, clubs, because maybe, they also have jobs, all those people, and you already know them, so if they ever need an interpreter, this is a warm client. They might remember you, so always remind them that you are an interpreter. And then existing clients, new clients are hot contacts because, they need the interpreting service now or soon. Legal matters, here also just a disclaimer, of course, I'm not in any position to give any legal advice. I'm just a freelance interpreter and not a lawyer myself. So the recommendation is inform yourself what's allowed in Mexico or the country you are from in terms of telephone acquisition. Can you just call a company just out of nowhere, or can you email them out of nowhere, write a letter, a fax? So do your due diligence and get this right. Get to know your client before you contact them as well. It's like with what we learned in school when we write an application, the motivation letter and the CV. Adjust it to the company, personalize it, meaning get to know the company, the client first. What do they offer? What are their values? What is their target group? What problems do they have? And all of this to be able to show them in the conversation that you have researched about them, that you know them already. This shows that you are truly interested in them and you don't just copy and paste the motivational letter as a comparison and send them to everybody. The same applies here. Research and show them that you are really interested in them and that's why you took the time to research to find out more about them. And lastly, I want to leave you with a recommendation to become a penguin. So, okay, Mexico is really a warm country, but the point is that a penguin is really a terrible bird, right? It cannot fly. Well, it cannot fly in the air, but it can fly, so to speak, in water. In water, they are great swimmers. They are really winners in the water. And the lesson here is, don't beat yourself up if you don't thrive in an environment that is just not for you. Why would I play tennis if I really don't have any talent for it and I simply can't play tennis? Don't force yourself into anything that is just not your thing. Find out what's your thing. Everybody of us has naturally some kind of areas where they are better in than in others. Choose one of those and find out what environment you thrive in and stay there. Don't try to be something you are not. So know yourself. Here are my sources. leave it for a minute or so. Some YouTube videos by Christian Bischoff and there's a few workshops I attended. Yeah, thank you for your attention. And remember, life is good. Always use also affirmations. It's reprogramming your mind. Replace negative thoughts by positive thoughts consciously. And yeah, you're invited, of course, to my Facebook group. Just search Interpreters Practice Group and it will come up. Thank you very much. I will stop the screen share now.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you very much for your words. No wonder you're an interpreter. You're on top of everything. Your voice is very soothing. So I think you're in the right profession. I
Thank you.
personally needed that presentation, not only after the past 7 months of stress and depression, but after this week of coordinating and emails and hard work. So thank you very much, personally and on behalf of everyone listening. We're very grateful. And indeed, a lot of people in the chat room are. Fernanda Salazar says, we really appreciate it, Sarah. Um, Rana, just so you know, Rana Badir from Egypt has also stayed up late to watch our translation week. It's also, well, now 13 minutes before midnight. Thank you so much, Rana, for staying up late as well. You could have watched it on YouTube. And Fernando Salazar also says, Sarah, this is so relevant. We share memes all the time that show how we never sleep, how we're translating 24/7. I think we should stop taking pride in that and making it a cliche about our profession. The only ones who benefit from our being willing to miss hours of sleep are agencies or clients. Uh, would you like to comment about that?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Fernanda. Yeah, this really is really relevant also what you are writing. Thank you very much. And it's so true. Like, why are we doing this? It's 24/7 and exactly taking pride in that. And then this reminds me actually of studying at university when you think like, oh, how much should I study now and learn for the exam? And then you think like, oh, maybe the others are still studying. And again, like I come to this breakfast example, you don't allow yourself anymore to take breaks. You think you should really work from morning till evening, 11 p.m., like without taking any breaks or anything. But this is nonsense. This is counterproductive and makes it even worse. If we did everything kind of like a normal structured day and took breaks, we would get more done in 1 hour than in 5 hours, without any breaks. So, and also with the translations, also one thing to remember, what is your hourly rate if you start translating 24/7? You need to get something done, okay, and they pay you a certain amount of cents per word, but calculate how many hours you actually work on it and then divide it by the sum, and then you see how much you earn per hour, and then you ask yourself, hey, it's not possible. So why don't you beforehand calculate an hourly price that you would like? And then you say, okay, if I want this hourly price, I have only 10 hours for this job. And then only work on it 10 hours. So I don't know, 2 days, with the breaks, so 5 hours a day or whatever. And then do your best in those 10 hours. And this is then enough. Don't say, oh, I need to give my best and the deadline is in 1 week. Then you will need a week and you will work 24/7. And how much was it then? €1, what was it then per hour? So, um, and always remember, this is why I love the meditation in the morning. Ground yourself in the morning and remember what's important. If you fell ill tomorrow, would that still matter? Or would you regret, to have wasted, all of your life's time? So, and it's okay, stipulate how many hours you have time for this, you got for this job, and then do your best in that time, and then you still can say you gave your best. You know what I mean? I hope this comes across understandably. So yeah, thank you, Fernanda. I hope that helps. So really, like, yeah, do a meditation in the morning, ground yourself, remember what's important to you in life, and then it's easier to structure it yourself and not work 24/7 anymore.
Rana says, I wouldn't miss something like this. Even though I'm still taking my baby steps as an interpreter, this was very helpful for me. It will become handy in daily life. And we also have congratulatory comments, grateful comments. Grisel Villafaña says, thank you so much, Sarah. Fabiola says, thank you for your ideas. Rana says, we're very thankful and grateful. Thank you, Sarah. What a positive message and so true. And there was a comment that's also very true before. It's difficult to stop negative thinking, but it isn't impossible. Very true. And what else? Taking care of your body is very important in itself, but especially since our brain and our body are our work tools, says Ana Carrega.
That's
And
correct.
Claudia Camero says, thank you. It is so important to take care of ourselves. I hope the students take this to heart and don't have to learn it the hard way. Any last message that you would like to share? I forgot to mention at the beginning that I bumped into your interpreters practice course. That's how I got to know you. And I have to say that it was quite stimulating, and I'm very grateful that you have it, because I was able to do networking. I met a colleague from the Dominican Republic and some other colleagues from the Arab world and Europe, and the Dominican Republic colleague has a platform I am now on for medical interpreters. So thank you for your networking work also.
Great, thank you. Yeah, come and join. It's called Interpreters Practice Group on Facebook. And it's also about positivity. It's really my thing, as you know, already gathered. I love personal development and all this positive thinking, because I know this feeling regarding the 24/7 thing, especially from university, when you're not sure, like, oh, do I do enough? And then it's like, and then you're alone with your thoughts. In the end of the day, you go home and you're all alone with your thoughts. So you need to make sure that you feel good with your thoughts in the end and at the beginning. So I really recommend to do some meditation in the morning to ground yourself, remind yourself every day what's truly important and how you want to allocate your time. And negative thinking is not impossible to overcome. That's right. Just remember, it's a habit, and habit can be changed. And this is also how it helps you, how it can help you to not beat yourself up, because a habit takes time to change as well, right? So don't beat yourself up if it doesn't work right away. But it's just a habit. It can be changed. So become aware and replace it by positive sentences. It's just like a bit robot-like at the beginning, where you're really like, no, okay, I do my best. I do my best. And you don't feel it at the beginning yet, but it will come. Just continue, and it's okay. Don't be perfectionist. We get to success by consistent, imperfect action. So I hope that helps. Enjoy your meditations tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much. Dankeschön. Gute Nacht. You're free to go to sleep. Muchas gracias, Sagat Himan, for being with us.
Yeah, muchas gracias, Antonio. Gracias.
And to the audience, to our dear listeners, don't forget that we have one last session, the closing session, where we will be doing the raffle of the books that we have been talking about during this week. And we will also give a very important announcement. Our president will, that you can't miss. And we'll see you then. Thank you.